Hello. Yeah, you caught me working on a project. Oh. Well, I suppose I'd better show you what I'm up to. Well, I think first you can see I'm actually working inside today because outside right now is 106. It's 41 centigrade. So, yeah, I'm not working in the garage today. But I'm working on this little project and I'll show you all the parts in a minute. I'll be making some more printed parts. This is going to be a balancer for a Mazda CX50 wheel. May not look like much right now, but up close I've got this orange piece which goes on the outside. I've got a bearing that fits on the outside, as opposed to last time doing the Corvette wheel where the bearing was on the inside. There's a pilot here, which I push in there, sorry for the screech, and this part, the red part, goes on the inside of the wheel with this face up against where the brake rotor would fit, and these pilots would fit on the pilot in the wheel itself. And then I've got wing nuts, and I can tighten this up so it becomes an assembly. So the trick is, with these, there's no load through the bearings. All the load goes straight through the shaft, and these two bits clamp up and grab the wheel. So these bearings we're going to run at their freest possible. This is the other concept of doing the bearings on the outside of the parts. You may remember that last time I was doing this vertical wheel balancing, I was using two saw horses like this. So I brought one in because I've been doing some measuring on it. And I'm going to show you a few details of the support I've made that's going to fit over both saw horses with the tyre going in between. So this is one of two bearing supports. This yellow piece here is where that ball bearing is going to sit. But I need to be able to, I am going to need to push the other one in as I load the tyre up on it. So that has to move. And then I'm going to need to clamp it in position, which I'm doing with this little device here. I can move it up and clamp it. I just twist and clamp and it's solid. This is how I do that. Notice this is a cam. And I've got a couple of little driving rods in there. So now that this is in, I can turn that and it will clamp up on stuff. So I've got a couple of holes in this and I can clamp it up, I can let it go. And so this is the setup I'm going to be trying. On this side it's going to be pushed back when I get the tyre up. The tyre will have, or the wheel assembly I should say, is going to have all this attached. So I should be able to stage it on here, pull that in, and then lift the tyre up onto the yellow supports. See, these wheel nuts have got this tapered end. What that means is that the wheel is lug centered. I know it's got a pilot on the brake disc down in here, and I'll show that in a minute. But while I'm taking these off, see, I've got my shovel underneath it. I've got these ones kind of loosened. I'm going to hold it against the brake disc and listen. That's the pilot. It's not piloting on the pilot. For years I thought it did, but I was wrong. It's actually centered by the lug nuts. So this is the pilot on the brake disc, and I actually went in and measured these, got the diameters and everything, and compared it, because I had to do that when I was making a 3D print so I could get the right sizes for everything. So I had to measure it. And the same with the wheel hub here, I had to measure the thicknesses, all these lead-in chamfers, diameters, this step down, so that I could design all those 3D plastic parts. And that's when I found out, when I drew it out in FreeCAD, that yeah, that brake pilot does not contact this pilot diameter, and once it's centered it misses this chamfer too. That's the noise you heard, was it going up and down against that chamfer. Okay, as a matter of balancing tires, this is the location I normally put my balance weights. This one's done at the factory, and they've stuck a balance weight over here, and it's a fairly big one, which is kind of odd because there's nothing on the other side. The outside of the wheels on all of them are clean, so they've put one here. This can give you a out of balance moment called dynamic vibration, which I'm against. I think you can do it all with static balancing. Don't like those. But hey, let's see what happens. It's probably statically balanced. Okay, so I'm in the house now where it's a nice 78 instead of 95. I did just try putting this in, and it does seem to be a pretty good fit. I'm really feeling very little motion, so that seems good. Right, I'm going to get the rod through and put the other side on. Right, I've just got to spin the nut on. This side overhanging just a little bit. I'll stick the wheel up there. Staging it. Okay, that looks like that could work. And you can see this one, I've got to push it all the way inside. So right around there. See what happens. Oh. I'm too close to the wall. And I need to rip that off. Okay, looks like I have work to do. Got to hold this down. Got to fix this. Yeah, lesson learned here. Don't rely on particle board to do anything regarding strength. So I'm going to stage the wheel. Just like before. Get it up on there. This side lined up, this side moved in, lined up. Got a whole library full of books here to try and hold it down. This tyre weighs 48 pounds. Yeah, it's no lightweight. Okay. It's holding together right now. Remember, this is balanced at the factory wheel, so let's slow it down a bit. We'll see if it actually, I'm watching it out of weight. Anyway, we'll catch up in a minute. Oh, has it stopped? It stopped with the weight at the bottom, so let's turn it up here to 90 degrees. See what happens. It's going that way. So it probably is statically balanced. This wheel's only got like 7,500 miles on it, so it's barely worn. I should go and get some extra weights and throw them on and see how sensitive it is. Let's try that. Okay, so I just put on 2 1/4 ounce weights. I just taped them in position. And if it's well balanced, those should settle down at the bottom. So we'll slow down, go the other way. It's doing fairly well. As you can see, it's a pretty slow process. I'm just going to give it a little bit of slowing. Okay, so it seems to have stopped there. Normally I would put a tape mark here, then I would see what it did on the other side. Right, so I've cut it down to 1 1/4 ounce weight. Over there, it's coming round to the bottom. Okay, I think it's finally stopped moving. Seems to be sensitive to 1 weight, so it kind of looks to me like it might be accurate to about 1/4 ounce. this particular method. However, it's a lot of trouble, this method. I have to admit, getting all my library of books out to do it, getting it like this, it's just difficult to do. The other method, where they'd be used on the Corvette wheel, was a lot easier to put on these because it's sitting on these instead of sitting on the bearings, which is much harder to get to. You've got to reach in and grab them. I don't think I'll continue with this method. I'm going to develop parts much in the same method as the Corvette wheel because I think that was accurate enough. That's probably within a quarter ounce, half ounce. So that should be good. Okay, so that's that experiment. And I can now put the wheel back on the car. So if you've forgotten what the Corvette stuff looked like, it's this. The bearings would fit in here. So this is what I'm going to go back to, and this is going to be my standard for doing a vertical balance from here on. So if we get different cars, we'll probably have to make different ones of these every time. So are there any other advantages of doing a vertical balance like this? And the answer is yeah. If you don't have the tire on, you can do a hub balance. Now my laser ball balancing, I can't do that. Most of these hubs are usually unstable. You need the weight of the tire on to drag the center of gravity back down low enough so that it's stable. But this one, yeah, it works. So does the Corvette one. It's a good way to go, and it's actually not too costly. I'm going to put some costs down in the notes so you can see how much all this stuff cost.